Welcome inside Kel's Sports HQ for the first installment of some sports recaps here. I'm Henry, and I was able to travel down with Notre Dame to the national championship with part of a newspaper, and I wanted to give some brief takeaways from my time down on the field and covering the game. So first, huge congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes, able to get the victory, Ryan Day's first national championship, and for this team to respond after some big losses, one to Oregon, a second to Michigan, and really after the Michigan loss, everyone doubted this team, but Ryan Day's ability to get this team back on track, to get them firing on all cylinders against Tennessee and obliterate Oregon in the second go-around, as well as hold on to against a Notre Dame team that has certainly proved the ability to fight back, to overcome some comebacks, was extremely impressive. So let's begin with the Buckeyes. Takeaways for them. So positives, obviously it's Ryan Day's first national championship. You need to celebrate that. There's a lot of doubt about Ryan Day. Could he win the big game? Could he step up? Could the players respond? And could he get his team in a position to succeed and actually deliver in that moment? And he did. He answered the questions. He responded, and when they clearly had a talent advantage, they were able to get the victory. As well as another big positive was the stars really shine for Ohio State. Will Howard had a monstrous game, throwing for 13 straight completions to open the game. He was on fire. Even though Riley Leonard passed for more yards, Howard was the MVP of the game, and deservingly so, finding other stars, including Jeremiah Smith, who had a huge day and really the game-sealing play at the end there with that 50-yard completion, as well as Caleb Downs, Jack Sawyer, and Tui Alamo, all stepped up to the challenge and all made some great plays. So your NIL money is paying off, but now Jeremiah Smith now looking for about $3 million in NIL money from Ohio State. At least that's what the reports say as of now. So Ohio State's going to have to find a way to hold on to these guys and try to build on the model of consistency they've had, as well as negatives for the Ohio State. Let's get on to some negatives for Ohio State. So first, the Buckeyes. Notre Dame clawed back. Now, you still win the game, but an epic collapse seemed on the brink for Ohio State there in the fourth quarter after the Irish scored and got the two-point conversion. It was down to that last drive and chewing out the clock that they did where they had that completion to Jeremiah Smith. It was really a pivotal moment. And this team certainly throughout the season has struggled to put games into the rearview mirror where they have a clear talent advantage. So games including Wisconsin and Penn State, they're not able to really throw the other teams out in the end of the game and really take a commanding lead. Now, they were able to get big leads through in the start and really hold on to them in the season, but you wonder how Ryan Day is going to be able to close out big-time games in the future. It's not something that we've seen throughout the whole of his career. Number 2 takeaway, how can this formula be replicated for Ohio State? Ryan Day bringing all these players together, convincing guys to come back for another year. That was where the whole of the NIL money went for the Buckeyes, was not bringing in big-time guys. While they did do that, they brought in players, including Caleb Downs and Will Howard. Most of the NIL money came bringing guys back for another year. And so how are the Buckeyes going to do that? How are they going to be able to continue to build from within, retain some of these 5-star players, and build toward another national championship contender? Those are all questions we'll have to see in the offseason. Now, onto the Notre Dame side. You show up in this game. No one expected you to get as far as you did in the playoffs. You make it to the national championship, but you lose. Now, no one expected you to be in this position, but showing a lot of heart, even getting to the stage. This season was an overachievement by any metric for the Irish, especially after that NIU loss. No one expected them to be in the position they were now. But let's take it on to some of the negative sides. So you lose this game in large part from the defense that was top 3 in scoring throughout most of the season, playing against inferior competition, really. And the defense was able to shine big time. But in this game, the Irish just forced one punt and one turnover that didn't result in any points. So it forces some of the questions of, how is this defense going to get back on track? How is this defense going to compete with some of the best offenses in the country, especially with the loss of Al Golden, who's now headed to be the defensive coordinator at the Bengals? And secondly, another negative is the decision by Marcus Freeman to attempt the field goal after the turnover. Now, you can say what you want. Getting within 13 points from 16 would have been great for the Irish, but in situations where teams have trailed by 16 with a 4th down and goal, in the over 400 situations that this has happened, there's only been one other team to attempt the field goal, and they lost in that situation. And the odds say it's about a 20% chance, a 1 in 5 chance that you'll get the touchdown. So in that case, it would have been more advantageous for the Irish to even attempt the touchdown, because your situation doesn't change whether or not you get the points, and they also miss the points. So definitely not the best thing. And the last takeaway that I have on the negative side for Notre Dame is, how do the Irish start to build a winning culture that can really withstand longevity? So Marcus Freeman, in his 3rd year, done a great job recruiting, and this season was in large part because of the way that some of the young guys stepped up for the Irish. So the question is, how can Marcus Freeman continue to recruit these young guys? Can he continue to find diamonds in the rough? Can they build a program that retains coordinators, builds a model of consistency? Can they really continue this theme of keeping guys out of the portal? They've already lost a few guys that were big for depth. So how are the Irish going to continue to do this? How are they going to work the transfer portal in the future? You can't steal a guy like Riley Leonard out of the transfer portal every season. So where's the quarterback development going to come in? Is it going to be Angeli next year? Is it going to be Carr? Are they going to look for someone else out of the portal? How does this team continue to build? And how do they try to catch lightning in a bottle again? It's always difficult for a team to make a run at the finals like this and to really catch lightning in a bottle. So we'll see how the Irish can try to figure that out in the long term. Now, positive sides. You overcome a monstrous deficit. Biggest deficit the Irish have faced all season. They come back, bring it in within 8 points in the 4th quarter. We saw a new component of the Irish passing game as a real breakout game for Jaden Greathouse, who ended with 128 yards and 2 touchdowns, the best performance of his career, going up against absolutely fantastic corners on the Buckeyes' side. So back-to-back 100-yard games for Greathouse. The passing game found new components, and this team showed that in the future they're going to be capable of coming from behind, as well as, in general, the young players stepped up. Another large takeaway. Leonard Moore, Jaden Greathouse, Jordan Faison, Josh Burnham, Drake Bowen, Kingston Viliamuasa, who recovered the fumble. The names keep going. The defense was really incredible, and you look at Leonard Moore, a freshman 3-star, 6'2" corner. He's got the physicals, but could he measure up and could he play in big-time games? He was one of the highest-graded corners this season in college football. So Leonard Moore was really able to step up and prove that he's a star, covering Ibuka and Jeremiah Smith throughout this game. Did a fantastic job in man coverage. So Irish, some guys are stepping up. You've got the future looking bright. You're not losing as many big-time players as Ohio State is, and certainly overachieving for this season can really set this program in the right direction. This Irish team able to have this next man up mentality throughout the season that was really critical, getting them to this point. That's certainly a serious positive. That cannot be overlooked in a college football where when guys don't play well, they're willing to transfer. And so Marcus Freeman really building this up, as well as the coordinators and the whole team at Notre Dame, certainly something to be proud of. Well, that's going to do it for Kel's Sports HQ. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to check us out on social media at Kel's Sports HQ on TikTok and Instagram. We will keep you posted on various sports stories. Stay tuned for next week's action.